Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's June 2nd, 2024. I'm out going to be working in the west garden plot today, doing some more sheet mulching with the paper rolled product that we did yesterday, that we utilized yesterday in the western garden plot around the thornless blackberry plants. But I did get a question this morning. I'm trying to respond to all the comments and questions as I can. And one of the questions I got was, one of the things I mentioned previously in a video was how the Avant 860i can, with its flat face coupler for hydraulics and electronics, and with a quick hitch attachment that would work with a standard skid steer or tractor, by hooking those up to the Avant 860i, it can utilize all of the tree puller. It could use a brush hog. It could use hydraulic forks. It could use an auger. It can utilize a whole bunch of equipment that's made for the skid steers and track loaders. And the question I got was, nowadays with hydraulic oils, is there a concern using equipment that's being used in two different pieces of equipment with potentially different hydraulic oil combinations? So I'm safe with using the AW 46 20 weight hydraulic oil that I use in my in the Hulk, which is a Takushi TL12 V2 track loader, and the Avant 860i. However, and there is this big however, there are big differences nowadays with hydraulic oils, with the different additives that are being used. Now, I'm in a cold temperate climate, so the AW 46 hydraulic oil is good for, we don't have the real extreme temperatures that we would have to go to a different hydraulic grade, a different weight. But a really good source of information, I think, is Neil Messick from Messick's Equipment. And if you just look for Messick's Equipment on YouTube, Neil has done a good comparison talking about some of the differences in the hydraulic oils. So it used to be years ago, we didn't have to worry. Hydraulic oil was hydraulic oil. But with the different seals and other components in the hydraulic pumps and in the hydraulic motors nowadays, there are significant differences. So it's worthwhile making sure that you're checking that it is compatible from machine to machine. And some of these newer hydraulic oils are very expensive. So it's just something to keep in mind. But today's project. So yesterday, we worked down, Thea and I worked down there in the west garden plot. I'll walk down there real quick. And we used the paper, the rolled paper, as opposed to cardboard pieces that we salvage for doing sheet mulching. So in the back of Suki here, Thea's RTV, here is some of the rolled paper that we use. I got this from Gempler's, and it's thick enough when it's sitting on top of rocks and all, they don't poke through. At least they haven't so far. And we put the double ground hardwood bark mulch on top of this as well. So this is what it looks like. I just got done watering it again. I watered the plants because you have the paper products, you have all that other materials, organic materials sitting on the surface. Want to make sure that does well. So what we did yesterday was pulled these weed mats back and then sheet mulched underneath the weed mats, the ends of them here, so you have less chance of weeds coming up at the margins around the edges. This is a very thin layer of the paper sheet mulch. Thea's over here bright and early starting. What you doing there, hon?
I am pulling weeds all from around the honeyberries.
Oh boy, that's pretty exciting.
I have my pruners,
yep,
for the bottom branches that will just be in the way. And that way we can put those over in the other garden and see if they'll root.
That's right. Good
And
Lord.
big,
Great blue heron.
yes. Wow, that was low.
Okay. Yes. So I just pulled back the weed mats here. So we've been using the DeWitt weed mats here, and we've been using them for several years. We really like them a lot. It saves the amount of time and energy spent in the garden. We use them so that we don't burn holes in them. We just have a single, we just connect two weed mats together at a point where the berry bushes or plants are growing out of, and that works out pretty well. There's a seam between two weed mats down here in the center. Dirt can get in there, moisture can get in there, and so that's a spot you got to worry about weeds popping up. But these weed mats have really done really well. But we'd really like to go to the sheep mulching and have that be our main way of doing things in the future. So we're not going to redo the blueberries this year. Depends on how everything goes with the rest of the area. So by pulling the weed mats back today, first thing I'm going to do is get the Ego weed whacker out here. So it's got the carbon fiber handle on it, so you can see the weeds are all up in amongst these. I did use a leaf blower yesterday to blow off a lot of the leaves under the weed mat. That's preventing weeds from growing underneath the chain link there, the kennel panels. So I'll weed whack this first, and then I'll bring in some leaf mold and fill in the voids where I took out a few of the plants. And lots of chamomile growing around in here. And what else? Then I may use the garden tilther to go over the surface, and I'll pick up any rocks as well. And then it's time to go ahead and do the paper material down, get the sheep mulching with the rolled paper down, and then get some of the double ground hardwood bark mulch out. I won't have enough to finish this area, but it'll get things started. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the before, before everything goes crazy here. So I may put a little bit of time lapse in. I don't know yet. We'll see how things work out. So time to get back to work. Okay, I just got done using the Ego weed whacker over here in the areas that I'm going to be using the tilther in next. But I went over it twice, and the goal is basically to not just to weed whack the plants down to a manageable level. I want to get them right down to the root level. And here's an old garden staple I could see. Toss that over there for now. But wanted to get, come on camera, wanted to get down in here. Thea will weed up around the individual plants there, bit by bit. But the weed whacker is pretty darn powerful. Now we'll still have to clean off the weed mats over here and clean off the weed mats here, because as I use the weed whacker, it throws everything all over the place, up on the plants and all, and there's weed leaves, weed seeds in this as well. But that gets the main part of it opened up. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tilther, go down here and try to make the area, so these paths were all wood chips before, and they've all broken down. You could still see some remnants of wood chips in here. There's another garden staple right there, part of one. So if you don't use rust proof or rust resistant galvanized or aluminum staples, it can be a real problem. So there's still some remnants of wood chips down in here. Anything big I'll toss to the side. We really want to have this nice and smooth, so when we're walking through here, nothing's going to reach up and penetrate through the weed mat fabric. So I'm going to run the garden tilther down here next. The garden tilther is a small little, some people would say it's much like a rototiller, but it's operated by a cordless battery operated drill. I just fried mine, my other DeWalt drill there just yesterday, I guess it was, or the day before. And so that's the tines on the tilther there. Got bearings in each end. I keep those lubricated, and I'll go down probably about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, move along, and I'll use this sort of like a hoe as well to fill in the voids and take down some of the high spots, just to smooth the whole area out there. And then I'll come in and fill in the voids. And we got one honeyberry plant that looks like it's dead, but it's got so many weeds wrapped up in it, some chamomile wrapped up in it. It's hard to tell yet. So either a heavy pruning back or remove it and replace it. So I'll tilt this, then we'll use the Ego leaf blower to clean all of the weed mats off, and then I'll do the leaf mulch, depositing leaf mulch around the areas that need it in here as well. So everything remains really nice and fertile, and we go from there. So here we go. Well, we're going to break for lunch now. I thought I'd show you the progress up to this point in time. So I had weed whacked, and Thea has been weeding along the kennel panel fence here. Then after weed whacking, I used the garden tilther to try and smooth out, fluff up a little bit of the soil going down here. I won't be touching up there other than to fertilize up there. I've been removing a lot of the rocks. So last year when we did this whole thing, we had rocks and rocks and bricks all along in here to help hold this down, besides the garden staples, because this was all new sand on top of here. And the winds coming out of the northwest just sort of like blew this all up. So we put rocks all along in there. I'll probably put some more staples. I got some more cleaning to do. As I've mentioned in other videos, anything that you have on top of a weed mat will tend to gather soil and weeds will start growing. And I've been pulling these weeds and all, but you can see the imprints wherever those stones were, or wherever rocks are there, or whatever you put on top of weed mat. It's just excuse me. It's just encouraging weeds to set root and then penetrate through. Excuse me, I just need a good drink of water. So we have a bit further to go here. We do have one honeyberry, one that's a little rough here. Thea's been gathering the honeyberries as they're falling off because a lot of them are ripe now. But as she's been pruning and working down here, that has caused a lot of the honeyberries to fall off, and so we'll start some from seed as well. So still got to do over here, but we've made progress so far. So time to have some lunch, a lot of water, and then if the weather holds out, we'll get back at this. Here we go. Okay, it's the end of the day. Used about 5.5 buckets, or 5 2/3 buckets from the green machine, the Avant 860i, to get some leaf mold. So this was the leaf mold that we started last fall, and Thea got all the honeyberries, hiscaps, weeded pretty darn well, and she did some pruning as well. See a little bit of bindweed right there, little angels. And I just got shovelful by shovelful of the the leaf mold from last fall. And I did turn the pile, the new pile of the leaves, just about an hour ago as well. That needed turning. But so far so good. Not going to get as much stuff done as I wanted to get done today. It's getting ready to, well, it's starting to rain now. We might get a storm through here. This is what they look like after we get the double ground hardwood bark mulch down on top of the paper roll sheet mulching. So I was going to try and water these now, but hopefully we get enough rain that waters these. And we got the weeds taken care of. I got things smoothed out somewhat. I still have to work on the margins of the weed mats because there's some frayed edges, so I got to fix those. And I've got to order some more double ground hardwood bark mulch. So that's 20 yards we've used so far this spring, and I need at least another 10 yards to finish up some of these projects. But we'll see. That's about as much as I'm going to be able to get done today. I'm pretty sore, and it's only 10 to 4 right now, but it's just starting to sprinkle. It's cooling off. It's been very muggy and warm. Not hot, but we're not used to the extra warmth yet. So that's as far as we're getting today. Thea's got some work inside, and I've got to get into the office. More bookstore stuff and some finance stuff as well. So that's it for today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Feel free to ask anything. We'll do our best to try and respond in a timely manner. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye now.